Okay, digital animation class. Welcome to the April 20th edition of Remote Instruction. The discussion post in Canvas for your 30% finished FLA and Swift file is ready for uploading. The rest of our semester is going to be very straightforward. We basically, as I told you early on, would get the learning part out of the way, the learning of the digital technology for animating. And we did that via the first couple projects in the midterm, and now you're putting all this together. So that's the critical thinking part of it. So other than this one video that I'll mention in a second, there are no new videos to watch. So it just comes down to the critical thinking of going back and maybe revisiting some videos, because that's what you're trying to figure out how to do in your final animation. And of course, if you ever get stuck, shoot me an email with a question and, explain the issue or what it is that you can't figure out how to do, and I should be able to help you. So let me just go back to this sound video here. So in the instructional videos for this class, there's all the applicable ones to the projects we've done, and then there is this set right here, which mostly applies to getting the electronic storyboard done. But the really important one is the ones on sound. So these are mostly images for electronic storyboard, but sound, using iTunes to get just the chunk of the song that you want, and then using Animate to fade in and fade out songs. So this is extremely important, and also how to set the song up so that it follows your video and stops when your video stops. But everything else, like the codes that you need to add and stuff like that to get the video to stop when it plays, and to have a play button and a replay button, all that you learned as part of the midterm. So the important thing for grades is just making sure that this week you're about 30% finished, then next week I think it goes 60, then 90, then 100, and that's pretty much it. If you want to be considered for the contest, just make sure that you follow some instructions that I'll give out towards the end of the semester to make your videos so that I can convert them to YouTube videos, and that will include removing the actions and stuff like that. But first things first, just get it finished to meet the requirements for the class, and then we'll handle that. And then when we look at what's due for April 20th, I'm also going to give you, right in that announcement, an idea of how the final exam will go for us. Okay, we are now going to talk about the final exam in the class, which is not really an exam, it's a presentation. You will present one of your earlier animations from the class. So you could choose the frame-by-frame animation. You could choose the beginning of the classic tween animation. It's even possible that you could have something that's very unique inside the midterm, but usually the first two that I mentioned are what people go with. And then you will present your final project. So that is your final. Your grade will be based on getting your files turned in correctly, to make the presentation go smooth, the quality of your final project, and 3, just simply presenting it. Now, because we're in remote instruction, that will be done via Zoom. So we'll try just turning the screen over to you, but if that doesn't go as smooth, like sometimes if you have a slower modem or something, it might not work, but I should be able to show it, and then give you a chance, at least to just present some audio to go with it. So we'll figure all that out, but just basically have those files ready to go by the end of the class, and you should be good. Now, you also receive a project grade for your final animation. So keep that in mind. That's not, all inclusive based on the quality of your final animation. So in other words, even if your final animation wasn't that good, which you've got a lot of time to get it good, but just say that it wasn't, it doesn't mean you would necessarily get a failing grade on the final, because the final is based on presenting, also based on getting your files into me, and then also the quality of the work. Well, mostly the final that you're showing, because you've already been graded on the other work, and no sense, I don't want anyone to have to redo that, because I want you to focus on the final. Okay, so before we move on to what is actually due next week, I can't remember whether I did this I may have only mentioned it in the Zoom meeting, but here it is, the winners from last time. Yeah, in fact, I know now. I showed them in the Zoom meeting, but if you want to take a look at them, they're posted in here, but I've also posted them now in the Prof. Steve G under Student Awards. And so here are the 2 award-winning videos for 2020, along with a whole bunch of other ones that are in here as well. Okay, we are changing gears now. Now we are talking about what is due 1 week from today. So April 27th, and simple. Boom, 60% finished with your final animation. I'm not talking about simple to accomplish, but simple for me to explain for once, right? So just be about 60% finished this week, 90% the week after that, 100% the week after that, and then you have that one final chance to get feedback and critique from us via Zoom, and then it's the next week of the finals where you do the presentations. Now, in order to get a good grade for the next couple weeks, the important things are this: have the amount done that you should have done, and just like before, if you have more than that done, you will get a higher grade. So if you can finish up the whole video and show that each time, you're gonna, that's really gonna push your points up. But also know this, that we're still in a class, and the advice that is given needs to be analyzed and thought about bringing into the animation. So in other words, if a classmate suggests something and it's a really good idea, you could think about putting that in. But if classmates and myself bring up the fact that parts of the animation are going by too fast, or there's other areas for improvement, or let's say even, for example, that now it's so good you should consider maybe just adding another little bit to get it ready for the contest, you do need to improve upon it each week. So you can't just keep showing the same thing week after week. It may, if you're past 60% finished, 90% finished, it may work for you then. But if you get to a final where you've just totally ignored all the advice that's been given and just stuck with what you had, that's obviously just not acceptable for a college class, and that will affect your grade on both the final presentation and the final project under the project grade category. Okay, so I believe that's it. Other than to say, I will see you at the Zoom meeting at 2:30 p.m. and we can pretty much plan on a 2:30 p.m. Zoom meeting every Monday for the rest of the semester. See you then. Keep questions coming and stay healthy.